So I just look at you, right?
Oh, yeah,
Not the three cameras.
Yeah. No, you can look at me. You can look at the team. It's all chill. You can swear. There's a lot of swearing.
I love that. I swear a lot.
There's a lot of swearing. Nicolas Travis. How are you, babe?
I'm really good. Better now that I'm here.
How long are you here for?
Till Saturday.
And where are you living now? Fill me in.
I spend my time between Berlin and Bangkok, but I'm moving to LA next year.
You're always all over the gaff.
I know.
So going to LA is part of the whole Seas America.
Yes, expansion.
Now you've got investment,
planned.
expansion.
We're really excited about that. I'm building a US team now, and we're going deep into the US.
Deep into the US. For the people who do not know,
Yes.
because obviously a lot of people who follow me will know you and are totally obsessed with skincare, tell us how you and Allies came to be the success that it is, the huge success that it is.
Well, thank you.
Tell me about yourself, Nicolas, as if you haven't ever before.
So there are two personal stories why I'm actually here. The first is I had really severe acne as a teenager, and I found the entire process of shopping for products really daunting and intimidating. And I quickly realized there are just a lot of empty promises on the market, and that sort of ignited my passion for skincare. So I have always been fascinated by the physiology of the skin and how the skin works. So my background's in biomedical and in pharmaceutical science. But one more personal reason was when I was 19, I had a really severe accident. I smashed my face and I needed to have reconstructive surgery. And I picked what I thought was a good surgeon, but he ended up butchering my face. So I had multiple infections. I had necrosis where the infection was eating the flesh on my skin. So I had holes in my face. And it was after many failed surgeries and a failed suicide attempt that I needed to see a therapist. And my therapist said, okay, let's assume you have to be here. Let's make a list of all the things you want to accomplish by the time you're 30. What does that list look like? And it was then that I realized, you know, if I was hating myself every day, crawling out of my skin every day, then maybe other people would. And if I could somehow channel that pain into helping other people feel more fearless or more confident in their skin, then my pain would have been worth it. And so I always thought I needed to pay my dues and like work for a beauty company, you know. So after grad school,
And where are you at this point? Where are you living?
I was living in Bangkok. So the surgeries were done in Bangkok. And I was too depressed to get a job after graduation. So I went to graduate school. And it was for my master's thesis that I wrote a business plan for a startup skincare line. And I always thought I needed to pay my dues. So I was applying to every job in every country, in every, you know, the Estes, the L'Oreal's, the Elizabeth Ardens, all of that.
Yeah.
None of them got back to me.
How old are you at this point?
I was 23. Yeah.
And none of them got back to you?
No, but I needed to get a job. So I ended up doing, I had a couple of offers at big advertising firms. So I ended up doing PR and social media.
Helpful.
And yes, very, very helpful actually. And it was the age before Instagram. So it was way back when Facebook community was just starting.
Yeah.
And so I was a community manager. And it was like the Wild Wild West. It was insane. The engagement rate was just like off the charts.
Yeah.
Like you could spend $1 and you get so much. So it was just another time. So that was really fun. And I learned a lot. But I had this feeling I couldn't shake off to go revisit that business plan. And mind you, that business plan was based upon the infusion of $1 million. And I was like, I'm never going to make $1 million working at an ad agency. But I realized that I could start with just one product. And I could scale with just one product. And I just thought, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I really have nothing to lose. And it was actually really difficult because we started in 2013, late 2013, and I spent 2.5 years doing research and development. So I launched in 2016. And I remember going into buyer meetings and they're like, oh, you're from Singapore. I didn't know you had beauty brands. I only know of your airline and your cocktail, or your airline and your airport, or your airline and that casino that's shaped like a surfboard. And they wouldn't stock us. And I was, at that time, always the youngest and the only Asian in the room. So it was actually really, really difficult to get a foot in the door. But fast forward to 8 years, we are now the most global, the biggest Singaporean beauty brand ever. So here we are.
They're clapping quietly.
Oh, thank you.
And how has the journey been? And I always say when I use the word journey, I hate the word because of everyone's like, oh, my journey. But it has been a process. hasn't it? Like you say, you go from one product to raising millions in investment earlier this year.
Yes, April.
Yeah. With the investment, how has that changed things for you now? So where you were on day one, trying to launch one product, trying to get your foot in the door, to where you are now, moving to LA, growing the business, how does that look?
I think it comes with money, comes with the ability to hire really great people. And I always say honestly that, it's in our name, allies, that it's really, yes, it started with my vision, but I have an incredible team, and I honestly cannot do anything without my team, and I actually don't move without my team. And so with the money, it's come this ability to hire people who can help us scale. Because what I really learned is that the people that can take you from 0 to 5 million are not the same ones that can take you past 10 million. So we're also in the process of recalibrating. We're also had to honestly bring on a lot of new people and also let go of a lot of old ones, because right now what I'm attempting to build is to fill the team with people that can take us to 50 million,
the next
100 million, the next truly the next level, and money helps with that.
Money helps with everything. People who say it doesn't are just liars.
No, it's true. It really helps with a lot. But the thing is, when you decide to go with the fund for investment, money's not free. So just because somebody gives you $1 doesn't mean you have to return them $1 back. It's actually $3 or $5, right? So you have to think like that, because it's really, really not free.
Yeah.
So yes, maybe some nights you don't stress about money, but then you think about, okay, how am I going to give somebody 5x return, and the pressure that comes with it. So you have to know that that's what you signed up for.
Oh, see what you've done? Do you see what you've done? After our conversation last year in the hotel where the dinner took 2 hours to come,
Right.
and we just sat there the whole time going, the food's not here, but let's keep talking. It was bizarre, wasn't it?
It was so bizarre.
And it all came at once.
Yeah.
Starters, it all came. We had a table full of food. We looked like we hadn't eaten for like 3 weeks. Bizarre. What's the plan in terms of scaling brand-wise and product-wise? Because you do cover most bases already with the current range. Are you going to stick with what you've got, or are you going to expand the brand or do new franchises?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. So creating new formulations is my favorite part of the job. So now that we've had the opportunity to this year launch our first SPF, we're going to be launching new SPF formulas every year. And they're going to be
redoing the one you've got?
No.
Just keeping it and doing another one. Wow.
Yeah, different way of looking at SPFs. Because I think if you look at the market itself, coming from Asia, SPF is we take out SPFs really, really seriously.
Huge.
And unfortunately, the US, which is our number one market, they're really behind all those filters. So, and because my focus is the US, so I unfortunately will have to follow the US FDA guidelines, and I have to use the US filters. Again, nothing wrong with that. Do they feel as good as the new European or the Korean ones? Absolutely not. No. But a lot of actually most of the Korean SPFs you buy on like Amazon and all that, they're actually gray market. So there's no way that we can do that. So what excites me is trying to figure out new ways of playing with these filters and introduce them. So we have that. And we're also really looking into how do we magnify things like growth factors, which has been a huge hit for us. Yeah. And things like copper tripeptide also, which I think it's the next wave of what's to come. Because I think we're past the hyaluronic acid, niacinamide. Again, nothing wrong with it. But
it's been done.
It's been done.
And it's in everything already.
Exactly.
It's in everything. It's like 10 years ago.
Exactly.
10 years ago was a big deal.
So that doesn't really excite me. So what really excites me is things like really great SPFs that people want to apply over and over again, and also growth factors and copper tripeptide and things like that.
With the science part, let's geek out for a bit. What do you look for? Because obviously there is a big trend for K-beauty, J-beauty, Asian beauty, and sort of, but like you said, there's not really a demand in terms of Singaporean beauty. You've nailed that.
Yeah.
Do you class yourself in that category, or are you an independent, we happen to be from Singapore, it's not the most interesting thing about my brand? Because that's how I see it.
Yeah, I love that question so much. I'm so proud to be from Singapore. I'm so proud to be a Singaporean. But I don't see myself as just like this Asian brand. I see myself as a clinical skincare brand that uses clinically proven actives at the right concentrations in supercharged formats, as in we check multiple boxes. So that's how I see the brand.
And in terms of growing, where do you look for with the science? What are you looking at in terms of what inspires you to be like, oh, where do you go looking for your ingredients?
Yeah, okay.
Because I know you're a bit of a lab geek.
Yeah, I love that so much. So for me, right now, I think the future is in longevity, and I think it's in regeneration. And longevity means different things to different people, but for me, it just means helping the skin become more resilient over time, and also more importantly, let's say somebody can, for a year, afford Ally's skin, and then after that year, they're not able to, for whatever reason, afford Ally's skin. Their skin should be better, at the end of that year using it. And that to me is like longevity. And also, when you're a 20-year-old, you don't have to care about longevity, right? So for me, it's about, serving that, for example, perimenopausal, menopausal women. We have a lot of customers that are on Ozempic, and it's done really great things for their body, but they're seeing it in the laxity of the skin and also on their face. So, for example, we have our copper tripeptide serum. We have an ingredient called saccharide isomerate, which we use maxed out 2%. I love that so much because it's been shown in clinical studies to thicken epidermal skin of perimenopausal and menopausal people. So I love that so much. So it's things like that we're really kind of focused on, because I don't think people are speaking or brands are speaking to that audience
They ignore
so
us.
much. Yeah.
They try and sell us supplements and say this will do better for you than HRT.
Yeah,
it's not true.
It's not true.
No.
It's really not true. And what I want to go after is that underserved community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So do I. But thank you.
Yes.
So that's the future. What are your earliest memories around beauty and skincare? Where did you kind of get your first? If I say to you, what was your earliest memory, and you go, oh, it was this, it was that. Is it embedded, or was it not even a thing when you were younger?
It was. My first memories were Oxy. Do you know that?
Oh, God, yeah.
Benzoyl peroxide.
Yeah.
Oxy cream. I think it was 5% and 10%.
Just burn your face.
Yeah, I would just burn my face because I was breaking out all over, so I put it all over like a mask. And I remember I had these like brown patches because it just burned
burned.
the face. And then it was Proactive. That was what I was on.
Let's talk about Proactive for a
Yeah.
minute, because no one's brought that up in any of the series we've done.
Yeah, but that was what I was using for a while, and then it stopped working.
I think everyone's been through Proactive.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Proactive or the offshoot of it that is the biggest skincare brand in the USA.
Right. Well,
What's the other one? It'll come to me. I'll remember. But the Proactive model,
Yeah.
very clever, shocking skincare,
Right.
but so clever. How do you rescue your face when you've been doing it for a long time? Because how long were you on it?
I was on it for a few years. Yeah. So I was on it for a few years, and then it stopped working. And then I found,
Did they have it in Singapore?
yeah, they had it in Singapore, but I was going to the US, and I
Right.
found this brand at I remember Costco or something, and they had like a competitor Proactive thing,
Yeah.
and I thought I'll try that. So Proactive only had benzoyl peroxide, but the one that I found had both salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide, obviously at lower concentrations.
Yeah.
So I think that combination worked better for me.
So just tell people what Proactive is for the uninitiated.
It's this thing it's this 3-step system you buy on a home shopping network, because that's when I remember buying it, and they had all these infomercials.
Like a 10, 15, 30-minute infomercial where by the end of it, if it happened to be on when I was traveling in the States,
Right.
by the end of it, I'd be like, do I need Proactive? No,
Yeah,
God, no.
exactly.
Get out of the
And
shower and turn
then
over.
And then there'll be a lot of people with really bad acne on the before, and then they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh my God, it's really
My
changed
skin
my
is
skin.
so
my skin.
clear.
It's so clear. And you're like, oh, this is really easy. I can have clear skin.
Yeah.
So then you just buy into the whole thing. So they had a cleanser, a toner, a moisturizer. Then
And they
had
sign
this-
you up for just a monthly subscription.
Correct.
It's so clever.
Correct. And then they have this sulfur mask that I remember you wear to sleep actually. And it actually did clear up the zits initially.
But it's...
But it was uncomfortable. I would
and it's
never
still
do that.
around.
It's still around, yeah.
It's crazy. I wonder if it's much bigger now. Now, Meaningful Beauty is the owner of all the ads, the infomercials now. Dr. Seabag and Cindy Crawford.
Is it
Meaningful Beauty.
Yeah,
And they
I
spend the
know,
whole
that's-
time talking about this fruit extract. It's like 30 minutes of a fruit extract.
Really?
And then they use Cindy Crawford's face. If, I use this, I'm like, okay, with the greatest of respect, Cindy Crawford, you have not used a papaya for the last 30 years. You've used numerous
that
dermatologists,
enzyme?
numerous machines.
Is it a papaya enzyme?
Or a melon. It might even be
Oh,
melon.
melon. I think it's melon.
I think it's melon.
Yeah.
It's enough that I haven't really registered it in my brain because I'm just
Right.
like, nope, turn over. What's been your biggest beauty or sort of skincare? Have you had any disasters?
I
Where
had
you're
so
like,
many.
okay, great, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, I had so many.
After proactive.
Yeah, after, right? So with acne comes acne scars. And so I had really bad acne scars. And I think because of what happened with my accident, I developed body dysmorphia. So I see myself in a different way than perhaps other people see me. And I remember one of the worst things I ever did was I went to Korea and I went to like the best dermatologist, which apparently all the K-pop stars go. And I was like, I want to treat my scars or I want to, treat my pores. And back then I wasn't breaking out. It was, I just want to treat some scars. And he was like, okay, we have this laser. It's just very strong. You have to like have the downtime for a few days.
What did you do? CO2?
It was the most painful CO2 laser
Yeah.
ever. I was bleeding for 6 days. I had to go every day for silicone patches and I had dried up blood. And of course, that was the worst thing it could ever do because it triggered melasma.
Yeah.
And because of
Then you got
that,
scarring and melasma.
Yeah,
Happy days.
Yeah, I know.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Exactly. So I caused myself even more
Oh.
more issues. So for me, that was like a big learning lesson. But I wasn't done learning because I was like, okay, after I treated it, I was just like always feeling like I needed to fix myself. So then I would go try different lasers. Then I would try something like the Morpheus 8, which I don't ever recommend. Anything heat-based microneedling, I really don't recommend because it destroyed my barrier and it actually burned fat. So it burned fat that you're never going to get back, right? So I was like, it was not good.
Nicolas is putting a face quite similar to Skeletor
Yeah,
at the
and
moment.
I was breaking out. It was really not good. And then I realized that a lot of what I was doing was actually self-harm masquerading as self-care.
Yeah, yeah.
And the best thing to do is actually do nothing. So that was biggest learning. So
What do you do now?
Okay.
What do you do now?
Now that I have learned, I am thankful that I live in Bangkok where there are a lot of like really great treatments. And for everyone who's listening, I'm really a big believer in skin boosters because for me personally, because of all the bad things that happen during the lasers, I have to stay away from heat-based treatments, which means no lasers because they're all heat, which means no physical dermabrasion. So none of that hydrofacial. Do you know that thing that drags?
Really. Let's go back to hydrofacial.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan,
yeah,
but I'd rather
correct.
explain why.
So no, I can't do that. No, obviously physical scrubs, things like that. I also have to stay away from LED lights because blue LED light at that wavelength can trigger melasma.
Yeah.
So I have to be very, very careful. So in Bangkok, I actually...
The irony being, of course, not to interrupt you, but a lot of people use blue LED when they've got acne.
I know.
And it's that... Oh, yeah,
I know.
okay.
Or they think that it can help with their post-acne marks.
Yeah.
But actually, it's triggering. But now they know. So what I do in Bangkok is actually things like mesenchymal stem cells. So stem cell therapy. So it's from a human donor. And it's not cheap, but it's the one thing that has literally rejuvenated my skin. Like my barrier was so disrupted. And you do that. And you can also do placenta, like human placenta. It helps with skin tone, melasma. And the way it's injected is very, very important because I'm sure everybody's talking about polynucleotides and like Regi1 because all of a sudden it's like allowed in the US.
Everyone wants salmon all over their face. Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing that in like 2014, right? So I was just like, why is everybody... It works for a certain extent because it gives you this glow, but it doesn't last.
It's not for
and
me.
It's so... I don't have you
It's
tried?
not for, no, I will not be doing that because I have seen people having it done.
Yeah.
And it looks painful. It's the red bumps all over the face. You come out looking like a fish.
No.
There's just red bumps all over the face, and everyone's like wincing. I don't mind doing the odd tweakment.
Yeah.
I will get back into them.
Yeah.
But that's not for me.
Yes. And it is so painful. It is so
you.
painful. And even if you use
There's
the strongest
not enough numbing cream in the world.
Exactly. So they have to put you under. So I
For
remember...
polynucleotides.
Yeah, listen. So I remember I was in Korea once.
Oh my God.
And they were going to do this micro needling, like PRP kind of thing. And I was like, okay, down. And I was like, oh, can I do Rejuan at the same time? Because in Korea, they have something called twilight anesthesia. They put you down for like 20 minutes. Oh my God, it's the best.
That sounds
nap.
like a really good
It's
nana
the best
nap.
And then you wake up and you're like, okay, your skin's a little tingling, but you're like, I don't feel anything. I love it. That's the way that they should do it because it's like the best nap that you've ever had. Okay, but the point is, it doesn't work.
Can we do that without having all the innovation? Can I just have a
nap,
twilight?
right?
That'd be great.
Yeah. So it doesn't work, and it's actually really, really painful. But I've also realized that for me, when you have all these micro injections and you don't go to the right injector, you cause a lot of trauma to your skin. So that's what happened to me. So I went to a not so good doctor that I was trying out, and it left me with horrendous melasma, because melasma is also triggered by physical damage. So I found this clinic in Bangkok. It's called Astrid. It's called Astrid. It's an incredible clinic. And the doctor is the best injector in the world that I've been around. She injects these placenta and these human stem cells the same way you would inject Profilo. And if you've done Profilo, you know it's just 5 points.
It's also painful, Profilo.
It is also painful, but it's not as painful as...
It didn't do much for me, Profilo. Again, I'm not a fan. I'm quite fussy.
Yeah, but Profilo, it's more for inner hydration. So, yeah. So it's done 5 points. And when you inject 5 points, you actually... Like, I can go out to dinner. Like, I can go for this huge treatment and I can go out for dinner. But if I do Rejuan, I could never.
No.
So I think it's important to figure out your injector. If you're dealing with melasma, it's very important to figure out your injector and how you're introducing these skin boosters. Because it's very nice to say, yeah, the skin boosters are good, but it's how it's introduced or administered that can actually trigger. So I've learned a lot.
And also using skincare alongside it is key.
Absolutely.
What do you use alongside it? What's your current skincare routine?
Growth factors, multipeptides and GF advanced lifting serum, vitamin C, of course, in the day, then copper tripeptide serum. I love that so much. And then lots of peptides, like a peptide-rich moisturizer and a vitamin C oil at night. That's really important. And retinoids.
Yeah, just hardcore.
Yeah.
There's no need for I don't ever see you putting Sudocreme on your face.
I actually do use Sudocreme. That's when I started, but I actually use something called triple paste now, which I think
I've seen triple paste. Someone else got that out of that bag. Who got that out of that bag last week? We had someone who got triple paste out of their bag.
Shireen, yeah.
Shireen.
So I do triple paste, and actually it's really great for long flights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great for long flights or when my skin, like after injections, after
you want grease.
do stuff, you want grease. And also, like, I think triple paste has a different preservative system than Sudocreme. And
Sudocreme is just made for bums.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Babies' bottoms.
So I tried to use it on my face because the thing with Sudocreme is I could wear it to the airport, but I cannot wear triple paste to the airport. I won't get
You
past.
can't wear Sudocreme to the airport.
Yes, I can.
It's white.
I have done it. You have to apply it in a way where you just pet it. Like, it works. I have to show you. I cannot wear triple paste to the airport. I can wear Sudocreme to the airport.
No.
Yes.
No, I'm not having that. No, I've got the CeraVe Intensive Night Ointment.
Yeah.
I'll be taking that on a plane with me next week because my nose is so dry after this endless weeks of cold that I do need some grease. I mean, you know.
I love that. I'm going to check that out.
Okay, let's do some sort of things that you love in terms of other parts of beauty, because you also, like, when you arrived, everyone was like, oh my God, he smells so good. Because you love other parts of beauty as well. If you were at home and your bathroom cabinet was on fire, what are you panicking about making sure you save? Because you're not going to have to bring your own product. You're going to have a warehouse full of that.
Right.
What is in there that you'd be like, oh, I can't lose that?
I would say my magnesium bath salts.
Oh, Jesus Christ, there's no hope. It's not sexy, is it? Give me something exciting, fragrance, or, this was the first product I bought when I first got my first $10, or, you know.
But everything else is replaceable, right? I would feel like if there was a fire, I would need to de-stress.
And where are you going to have this bath? If your house is on fire, where are you going to have this bath?
In a hotel.
So essentially what you're saying is, I have innate privilege, and when my house is on fire, I'm just going to go to a hotel.
Yeah, where else would you go?
No, fair. I'd be calling friends. It's
right.
What do you get regularly done in terms of when you are traveling? Because a lot of us, when we travel, we kind of, I think we've got out of the habit now, but you land and you just go straight to meetings and
That's me.
and it wears you out eventually. So when you are traveling, what do you recommend for people who need to relax? Is there anything you would get done in a hotel that you would pre-book, or when you're there you might go, oh, actually, I'll have that, that'll help? Or do you have a routine when you land? Like Kate Somerville lands, and she always stays in a hotel that has any kind of pool or a sauna or a steam room.
Yeah.
And she does a circuit. She does like 5 or 10 minutes in each for for an hour, and then she says she doesn't have any jet lag, kills the jet lag.
You know, I used to be like that until I realized that I can no longer do saunas or steam rooms because it triggers my melasma.
Yeah.
So that used to be me, and I realized that I cannot do steam rooms and saunas because of the heat and how it triggers my melasma.
Yeah.
So right now, honestly, during the flight is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm traveling from Asia to Europe or Asia to the US, I really try to sleep. Like I sleep, and then I can go. But sometimes it's also just being around really great people. So for example, last night yesterday I arrived in the afternoon, and I went and see my team. We had lots of margaritas, so that was fun.
You are bad for margarita. You're bad. Like when we went out for dinner last time.
Yeah.
And we went to the restaurant. First of all, we added like numerous margaritas.
Yeah.
I'm not a drinker these days, but we had numerous margaritas. And then you were ordered like 3 mains as a starter.
Yeah.
And I think they thought we'd lost our mind. And you were eating like a whole fish you were like, this is good, thank you. Not a carb on the table,
right?
But a full fish to start.
Protein. It's a protein-rich diet.
I get
Isn't that great?
I get
and
that.
We were starving.
It was a lot. But every time I see you, like, so I took out the team out for margaritas.
No, but I like to feed people. I think that's like my way of expressing love.
And get them drunk, apparently.
No, but just get them buzzed.
Inebriated.
Yeah, it's more
a
fun.
little loose.
Yeah.
Do you have any? What do you sort of keep? What do you buy? What do you always have on you in terms of if you're traveling or if you're at home? What's always in your cabinet that isn't Allies? What do you always have? And you can't say magnesium bar salts.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me a fragrance. Give me something here. Hair, fragrance,
okay,
body.
So eccentric molecules is the one. Number one is the one thing that I always have. But I've been recently been really obsessed with using a body oil after a body like cream.
Mm-hmm.
And I buy this Eucerin one for eczema, which is really, really cheap, and you can get like a really huge one. And then I use a body oil, and I'm really into kiwi seed oil now because it's so great for acne. So if you're prone to like acne or breaking out, it's actually really great because it has really high linoleic acid, and it smells like kiwi. And that time to take, because it's actually quite, you put a body lotion and you put a body oil, but during winter time, your skin when you wake up the next morning is so soft, and it's been really paying off for me.
How does it work when you're traveling from hot to cold? Because you must do a lot of hot to cold travel.
Yeah, well...
That's always a nightmare for me. Next week, I've got to do hot to cold. I've got to take 2 suitcases.
Yeah, so for me, I'm kind of
First world problem, but
I mean...
Oh my God, I've got to take 2 suitcases.
I travel at least with 2 suitcases all the time because I have 1 suitcase with 2 of my pillows and my silk sheets. And then my supplements.
God.
So I always have, so I have skincare, I have supplements. You should see, like, I am ready. Like,
You're ready.
The one is always ready to go.
So you could just lie down in an airport, get your silk sheets out, your
pillows
pillows
my
out.
pillows, yeah. So I can
pack
stay
pillows.
anywhere. Yeah, I pack 2 pillows.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 big one and 1 to hug. And I bring my own silk sheets, yeah. That's how I travel, because I travel this week I'm in London, then I go to Berlin, and then I go to LA, then I go to Bangkok. So it's just like, I'm like that.
You have to feel like home.
I have to, even though hotels don't. And yesterday I was checking in at the hotel, and she's like, oh, thank you for your loyalty. And then I was like, yeah, thanks, like I checked my Marriott app, and I spent 180 nights like at a hotel so far.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's not even the end of the year yet. So
that's a lot of travel.
I would do over 200 nights on
I'll
the
give you a
road.
break. I'll give you a break with the sheets and the pillows.
Yeah, so that's why it's very important for me to travel like that, because I really just have to sleep because I just work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow, I'm actually quite tired now you said that. What do you do in terms of, do you do anything else besides work? what do you do, like, and I hate the term, but like in terms of self-care or any activity, what do you do to chill out and switch
Yeah.
off?
Okay. So for me, I meditate a lot. That's like my thing.
It's not exactly what I was looking for.
Okay.
Nicholas. Like, give me a Netflix or binging a box set or
Gosh, I
like
watch
something.
a lot of trashy TV.
Okay, great. Now we're on track.
Yeah.
What's your favorite trashy TV?
Well, the Real Housewives series. It
All of
depends. Not all of them.
Beverly Hills?
Beverly Hills, Salt Lake City, Potomac.
I love that
just
way. It's like, not all of them. Here's a whole list.
Yeah, there are a few. So I watch wherever. Yeah, so I watch a couple of those, and then Selling Sunset.
Oh, yeah.
Selling the OC.
Yeah.
Somebody told me to watch that.
It's painful, but it's
Somebody in
like
Mecca.
wallpaper.
Somebody in Mecca told me to watch that. They were like, Nick, this is what you watch on planes, because we were talking about long haul flights,
Mm-hmm.
and because here's the thing, I travel so much internationally. The Caroline, I've seen everything on the entertainment system. So I was telling them, and they're like, no, go download Netflix on your phone. I was like, could you do that? Then they taught me how to do that. I'm like, now I have all these
Now you
downloaded
just
shows.
download and just binge on a phone.
So trashy TV is really great because I think so much. I need to like not think.
Yeah, you need to just be like, stop.
So that's what I do. I work out a lot as well. If I see a trainer 5-6 times a week.
How do you do that when you travel?
I don't. So if I'm in Bangkok, then I have a trainer in Bangkok. I have a trainer in Singapore. I have a trainer in LA. I have a trainer in Berlin. But then if I'm in London, I don't. So
I've never felt so like a bit pathetic, actually.
no, it's
Work
just
must-
that I have to architect
You have to do
my
it to
life.
keep
Yeah.
yourself going. I get it. Let's finish up on things like trends, because it would be really easy for a brand like you and a brand like mine, to be honest, to fall into the trap of trends.
Yeah.
And we don't.
Yeah.
So like you said, you had salmon all over your face 10 years ago. How do you feel we are as an industry with trends at the moment? What's been the best and the worst that you've seen recently?
Okay, I would have to say that it's been really great that everybody's talking about retinaldehyde, because when I introduced when I started working with it in 2013 and I launched in 2016, they were like, huh?
Yeah.
Is it retinol? And because I
You're
would
like,
have
"No,
people
it's
be like,
Meta."
no, they were like, is there a typo? Why
Yeah.
is there an A? I'm
Why
like,
is there
no, this is actually retinaldehyde, and here's why. And I love that so many brands are using it right now, and I think it's incredible. So that's a plus. I think a plus is also barrier care. I think that is the one thing, because, we can sit here and talk about expensive treatments, expensive ingredients, but if your barrier is not strong enough to absorb all of it, then it's a wash.
Do you not think, though, that our industry is partially responsible for everyone having a damage barrier?
I think so.
With all of the products
Yes,
that
I
everyone
think
just
so too.
churns out and says,
I-
you can use all of these together when you can't.
Yeah, I think so to a certain extent. But I also think that the one thing that's not so good that I don't really like is this like sustainability thing, right? Not that I don't think our planet needs to be saved.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, first and foremost, there's no like reef safe sun care or
No.
UV filters. Okay, everything just damages corals. But more importantly, corals are really damaged by the
Global
heat,
warming.
global warming.
Global
So let's
warming.
just call a spade. But it's also like this refillable packaging and all of that. Like, guys, the most sustainable thing is to not buy anything. And I cannot tell you I'm a sustainable brand because I'm in a business of creating newness.
Yeah.
I'm in a business of telling you need to use more than one serum. I'm in a business that tells you need a day moisturizer and a night moisturizer. So that part just really annoys me. And because when everybody's like, oh, what is this refillable packaging? I'm like, have you seen? You basically need to like buy 4 refills before it actually makes sense on the carbon footprint.
And most people
wise.
don't.
Most people
The research is
don't.
most people will
No,
buy a
most people
refill and then the
don't.
next time they'll buy a fresh one.
Correct, exactly.
They're not going to refill something 4 or 5 times.
Exactly. So that's what I don't like.
I like that.
Yeah.
I agree. Do you have a burning question for me?
What?
He looks
Yes,
like,
I'm just thinking. No. Actually, I do.
I'm scared.
No. What are you most afraid of?
Oh. I've got a really good answer. My
Yeah.
first thing was snakes,
Okay.
but my actual answer is mediocrity.
Yeah.
Mediocrity.
What do you do when you feel like you're not good enough? Because you have such an incredible sense of self.
Question why I'm doing it and if it's right for me. Yeah. And by mediocrity, I mean doing something that I'm not 100% invested in.
Right.
Like not absolutely loving what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I've always had it. That's why for example, in school, if I knew I wasn't going to be really good at a subject, I would just be like, oh, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to put all my energy over here, which I now can see as textbook ADHD.
Right.
But we didn't know at the time. We had no idea. I had no idea. Every single school report, Caroline would be fantastic if she paid attention and stopped talking.
Right.
And in the subjects I liked, Caroline is fantastic.
Right.
She's so dedicated. Her focus is like unlike anything I've ever seen.
Right.
Only in a handful of stuff. Not in physics or chemistry, let's be honest. Biology, yeah.
Right.
So mediocrity, like if just to be average in what I'm doing,
that's
it's not that it's I'm not really scared of anything in that way, but I would say I'm more wary of not letting myself go down a path of just doing something for the sake of it.
I can as well. Like, I'm all or nothing kind of person. Like, if I do something, I do it.
But I really don't like snakes.
Yeah, okay. Noted.
What are you most afraid of?
I think with everything that I've been through, one of the biggest lessons or biggest aha moments was when I was in Bhutan last year. My guide took me to the top of the Himalayan mountains, and I saw this huge tree. It was like, hug me. And I've never hugged a tree before. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna hug the tree. The tree said, you're not your face, you're not your body, you're not your money, you're not who you know. Be nothing so that you can have everything. And in that moment, because I also grew up in a very abusive home, and I went through a lot in my teenage years, for the first time in my life, I felt like I didn't need anything, I didn't want anything. And that's what I've been trying to get to. And I think what scares me the most is honestly, right now, moving away from just being so unkind to myself, because I have been the worst to myself. Like, I've been horrendous to myself. And the things that I've done, like I said, I burned my skin and like all that kind of stuff. That's the part that I think I need to be careful of, especially when I start going to a place like LA, right, in which the physical
ground central for plastic surgery,
or also just, I guess, how people look on the outside is the currency
it's
of
so
the day,
important
right?
to them, yeah.
So that's the one thing that I think I need to make sure I let go of that attachment.
I'll just send you positive affirmations every day.
Thank you.
I'll just send you you can do this, bitch.
Yes.
You look great today. And you'll be like, you haven't seen me in 2 weeks. It's okay. I know you look great today.
Yeah. I want to focus on the person I am rather than what I have on the outside. I want to be nothing.
That's a much nicer way to end than snakes.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
But they are. I mean, nobody likes snakes.
No. People are like, oh, I love my snake. That's just not normal.
Oh, no, I did date somebody who had a pet snake, though.
That's not even a red flag. That's like a bull riding through a room with a red flag. No.
I thought it was cool.
And one of those freaks that let it out the cage. They're like, oh, they're just having a play. I'm like,
they sleep most of the time.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They just look weird when they shed. That's a bit.
Just respect the snake. Leave it.
Right.
Just respect it. Animals, they freak me out. I'm just like, I put a clip on my Insta of a man who went shark diving in a Perspex box and he fell out of it. Oh, shocking that you might get killed. Respect the ocean. Respect the sharks.
I would go shark.
You moron.
I would go shark diving.
No. I'll be at the side making you two going, you've got this, honey. It's not for me. Respect the animals.
Okay.
I'm like a triple fire sign. I don't do water in that way.
Right.
Like if I'm sitting on a beach and I'm paddling my feet and I can see that, I'm like, no, there's something swimming past my leg. No. And I also am the generation that had Jaws.
Right.
That's PTSD and trauma.
I watched that as well.
But did you watch it when you were 7?
Yeah, I did.
Like my mum and dad took me to the pictures.
Yeah, I did. I watched
and I remember vividly sitting there and I put my feet up on the seat because I was scared there was going to be a shark underneath the seat. It was full of kids.
Yeah.
That didn't come with a trigger warning in 1977.
No,
Hello?
it didn't.
Jaws. Still now. It's probably the film I've seen the most. It's a sickness. It's a sickness.
I get it though. Sharks are real. I wouldn't go so far out.
But you want to go swimming with them, you fucking lunatic.
In a cage.
Oh, like the guy in the Perspex box. I mean, he's literally just become feed.
How did he fall out? Because usually it's a steel
Oh,
cage
no,
that
it was
you go in.
open, and they're all swimming around him, and then he tips, and he's like, "What? Oh, look, Martin, food."
I'm sorry, the cage you go in is closed.
No, because
yes.
that didn't work in Jaws either, Nicholas. Richard Dreyfuss.
Right.
Yeah, he got almost eaten, and at the very end he pops up, and it's no. Respect the shark. Stay away.
Okay. But whales, dolphins. I
No,
could swim.
terrifying. Absolutely.
They're
And
kind.
here's my theory, right?
Right.
So we're not in Australia, and we've gone off on a tangent, but it's fine. Here's my theory. We're not in Australia yet, and I've never been, and I want to go. But what I do not want to do is do anything that involves anything on the water,
Right.
anything in the outback.
Right.
All right? I've seen this shit. I've seen these spiders. I've seen people having a barbecue, and the snakes are twining themselves around the wires, and they're like, "Oh, it's a big one," and I'm like, "What? Why are you still standing there?
What are they
Who
supposed
are
to
you
do?
people?
What are they-
Move, leave Australia."
But the barbecue, they're cooking the meat.
Oh, I don't. And then my big thing is when you see people paddleboarding.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, he's a big one. And there's a fucking super huge sperm whale next to them, basically saying, "Get out of my water, bitch."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, hey, little guy." And this is, I can't. Who are you people? I'm not built like that.
Right. Okay, got it.
I'm not built like that.
Okay, got it.
I'm very much a Leo and a lion.
Okay,
I'll
great.
stay in the jungle where I belong. And people are like,
Jungle.
I'd love to do a safari. I'm like, fuck that. Why would you take yourself to a jungle? And all the rules when you go on a safari. Friends of ours went and they were like, so you can't wear anything fragranced.
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
take
yeah,
any
yeah.
perfume. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I know why? Oh, the scent will attract
scent,
that. And I'm
yeah.
like, absolutely not. No. I respect the animal.
Right.
You stay in your home. I'll be in my home.
Right.
I don't want a shark coming to my house for tea. I'm not going to throw myself in the ocean.
Okay, got it.
Respect the animals.
Okay, got
It's a
it.
good place to finish.
Okay, I'll send you a postcard when I do it.
Don't give me anxiety. I'll be like, "Nicholas, get out of the water." Get out of the water. Okay. On that point, though, coming back to hydrofacials, what they have done brilliantly is marketing.
Yeah.
I've never known a machine marketed like a hydrofacial. Have you?
No.
I mean, they are everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're doing, you can brand them. Like we could do, you could do alloys or skin rocks with hydrofacial. They do them with everyone.
Yeah.
Ultimately, in terms of the treatment itself, it's a bit of microdermabrasion, blast a bit of oxygen. The genius of it, it's like those old Hoovers used to get in the 70s
Yes,
where you can
correct.
see the gunk.
Yes.
The gunk goes brown.
Yeah.
And that's what you see. And you think, oh my God, my skin's never been so clean.
And people think that it's the glow that they have as well. They talk about that glow, but actually, I think it's that glow from over-exfoliation. Like when your barrier is about to collapse. It's just like...
You're like,
shiny.
we're on the edge here, people.
Yeah, we're on the edge. Like, I feel like that's with me.
I-
with hydrofacial, so I don't.
No.
can't.
Did you ever get into the microdermabrasion?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
Yeah.
I never liked that either.
I never liked it, but I did it way back when there was nothing. I mean,
If you went for a facial, what would you go for? Would you go for anything these days?
actually, that's a really great question.
Yeah.
So when I go,
I
for
would happily pummel your face.
Yes.
I
So-
would pummel your face.
Yeah.
Danny's
So
gonna be like, why are you
massagers,
hitting the mic? I'm not.
massagers are really, really great. I have to tell them no LED light, nothing with heat. What I really need for facials is extractions, like good extractions.
Yeah.
That's it. That's actually,
But this is key. How do they do the extraction?
what
Or do you not
mean?
even pay attention?
No, I pay attention, but what do you mean?
I don't
how
like
do
the
they do?
tools. I don't like the tools. I like a finger.
Yeah.
I like a pa-chung.
Yeah. They do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
So
quite fussy when I see people on Insta, and it's always the clickbaity stuff where they've got the blackhead removal tool and they're all, and I'm like, you're doing so much damage, it's going to bruise. Please stop. Put it down.
but do you know I love watching those videos?
No, do you know what I love watching? You know, my new obsession
What?
is they're all going to throw up.
What? The earwax.
Earwax removal.
Oh my god, I watched that too. I literally found it. There's this
It
British.
is-
Is this British
Yes.
guy?
The
I
two
just
of
found
them,
his
the two.
two of them, English
Oh.
and British, right? And then they like pull it
And they
out,
put
and
it
I'm
out.
like,
It
and then they
is
like irrigate it.
Love. And when I had one the other day, and he was like, "This is the worst blockage we've ever
Oh my
had.
God,
I've never pressed play so
Yeah,
quick
same,
in my life."
same.
And
And
they're
then
like,
sometimes he talks too much, so I have to fast forward a little
you're
bit.
Stop
I'm like,
talking.
I had
But
to
the
pull
good
it
thing
out.
is, if you go on YouTube and you fast forward, you'll see the spike where everyone else has done the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
you want to
yeah,
see
yeah.
is the money shot.
No, correct.
Give me the money
Correct.
shot.
And I'm like,
let me see that
how-
bitch come out of their ear.
How can somebody here?
They can't.
They can't,
They can't.
right? But how do you get to that stage where you?
I think people are just so used to being like, sorry, what? And you just assume they're just a bit deaf. But when you actually when they start to get earache, I'm like,
Right.
but did you see the guy who had like 5 Q-tip
Yes.
the ends in his ear? like, what? You know they're not coming out. What are you doing?
Why is he
But I
booking-
watched one yesterday.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
send you the link.
Okay,
We'll have to
okay.
put this link in the
Okay,
notes. We'll
okay,
have to. But I'll
yes.
send you the one from yesterday, which was the biggest removal of dry skin they've had.
Oh, is it
And-
the one with the?
And it looks like a horn.
Yeah. Oh,
that
I
was
saw.
sexual.
I was
That was
saw that. That
sexual.
was so good.
It was so
But like,
satisfying.
how do you get?
I don't know.
Because now I check my years, obviously, but I'm like, how do you get so much? Like,
I don't
it's
know.
the same way with like, how do you get this huge thing all over? Because sometimes I would see your blackheads on the lips,
Yeah.
and I'm like, how do you get to that stage? But
Yeah,
then I guess
without
it's
realizing. But with the earwax, some people are just prone to make more. And there are some people say it's linked to like your liver and things like that. So
Yeah.
Jim and Max, so husband and son, both get a lot of wax
Right.
in their ears. And we have had Max has been to have his done. He's only 20. We had to go and get him done because he was just deaf.
Actually, I had the same thing when I was like 5. Like I had to go because I think I was yelling.
Yeah.
And then I realized
There's a few people in our office I should probably pay to go and get their ears done because I'm like, why are you shouting at me? Carla, Louise, Liv.
my ears were clogged, but then they unclogged it, and then I've never had a problem ever since. So I guess
That
sometimes it
is,
happens.
I love watching those videos.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've overtaken pimple spot because I can do pimples every day at work. I don't need to watch that. But the ear wax
Yeah.
removal.
I don't even know how I found it. It
Is
was just like
another level.
recommended for you or suggested for you.
Probably because you
after I
follow
watched-
me and then I'm like watching 20 of them a day.
I love it so much. Like sometimes I can't sleep, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I shouldn't be. I'm like, on you. Normally, sometimes if I can't sleep, I'm like, okay, go find a sound bath, find meditation, and then I end up watching these.
Ear wax removal videos on
and then
YouTube.
it's like 2 a.m, and I'm like, oh,
I know, I'm the same.
But it's really satisfying.
Thank you. So
Thank
we're going to do
you.
listeners' questions now, which I think is going to be fun because we're going to do a lot of TikTok trends and things, and I just want you to be like decimate them.
I love that.
Thanks,
Let's
Sarah.
go.